Things have come up golden in the Astros world despite being in the playoffs. They have 3 players that have been nominated for Gold Glove. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the history of the Gold Glove with the Houston Astros. Let's get into it right now.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. They can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X, on Instagram, on YouTube, and look, wherever you get your podcasts, I'm always positive, always Stros.
Hey guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you're listening to podcasts. Go and check us out. You can also check out FanDuel. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet, and you can get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Go and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're trying to get to 20,000 subscribers, and we appreciate a thumbs up while you're at it. So, Brett, I know that it's always nice to get an award, and I know that last year we had some Astros get some awards, and Mauricio Dubon definitely got an award last year that Astros player I don't think has ever gotten a utility award winner. But this is definitely a situation where it's a different group of people. Maybe Alex Bregman was nominated last year too, but I think that it's for everything that's happened this year. It's good to see that 3 Astros were nominated this year. So that means that there were some good things happening. Later on in podcast, Joe Espada was on the Buster Only show. I don't know if you caught that, but he had some words about what it takes for a team to be still in the playoffs. And I don't know if that was a shot at his team or just what does it take to still be in playoffs in general. So we'll go ahead and talk about this and more.
No, yeah, just for clarification before we get to it, because I see it's in the last part. Was it Buster Only telling Joe Espada what it takes to stay in the playoffs, or Joe Espada?
No, it's Joe Espada. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Buster Only basically just said, "Hey, Joe, I know you watch a lot of playoff games. Just tell me what you're looking for." And he basically broke down exactly what he's looking for. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later. If you want to know what he said, go and stick around. So, Brett, let's go and talk about the Gold Glove Award nominees this year. Just because they're nominated, that doesn't mean that they're going to win. I know I saw a lot of people say that one of them should win. I don't know if he will. I don't know if it's a popularity contest. Sometimes it is. We'll go and talk about the stats in a second. But go ahead and list out the nominees.
Well, the nominees are Jake Myers in center field, Alex Bregman in third base, who has not won a Gold Glove, and Mauricio Dubon, the second year in a row to be nominated for the utility Gold Glove. Remember last year he was nominated for 2 different positions because of Jose Altuve's absence through most of the season. So, he stepped up in a big way. And Eric, I honestly think all 3 of them are worthy. I think now that Chapman is out of the AAL, that was the guy that held him back. I mean, that was the guy that won 4 Gold Gloves in his 7 years or 6 years being in the same league as Bregman. I think if Chapman's not there, Bregman easily wins. I know you got Jose Ramirez. I definitely respect him. Some other people think that Myers doesn't have a clear path to it. I think he does. And I think Dubon does as well. So I think right now it's a matter of opinion. I know they go by certain statistics, and I think they're all deserved to be nominees for sure.
Yes. So let's go ahead and take a look at, I know you mentioned one of them, but let's take a look at center field first. Center field, it's Jarren Duran of the Red Sox and Dalton Varsho of the Blue Jays as a finalist in center field. Duran, I know that he's had an up and down season. He had a situation with a fan, definitely where he had to apologize. But he's definitely came on offensively this year, but he's also known for his defense. So I think that this is a tough. I think that Duran is probably the favorite here. Varsho is a former catcher who's been converted to a center fielder. I guess he was always kind of center fielder, but he's a guy with multiple position flexibility. So it's interesting how many different people from Blue Jays were nominated, considering how bad a season they had.
Mhm.
But who you still see Myers as a finalist in this group?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, he's top 3. So if you're looking at now, if you look at outs above average, Dalton leads with 16. Duran is at 11, and Jake Myers is at 14. Now, where Myers takes a hit is his arm value. His arm value is 28, which is -1. Duran, his arm value is 87. 87 percentile, and the fielding for arm value on Varsho is 88. So, you have the highest arm strength is Jared Duran. Now, if you're just looking at the numbers, I think if you're looking at arm strength, arm throw, who can throw people out from the field, yeah, I mean, Myers definitely takes a step back, but I think with his athleticism in the outfield and tracking down fly balls, for him to have 14 outs above average, I think is outstanding. Maybe he doesn't get it. And you just know that shoulder injury, and man, it really has hampered him going forward. It hasn't stopped him from catching the ball, but it sure as heck has really taken his arm to a different level. So if we're probably factoring all the defensive metrics, that probably knocks him out of the top 2. But of course, I'm gonna err on the side of Myers a little bit more, just because of all the great catches I've watched him see day in and day out. And I also suffer from not watching all the defensive plays for the other 2, although Varsho is 16 outs above average, hard to argue against. But then Duran is in red, top percentile in all 3 categories. So it depends on what the voters are looking for in particular.
Do you happen to have their defensive wars in front of you?
I can look those up real quick. That is, what's funny? Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can defensive war.
I'm looking at the overall.
I got it. Go ahead.
I've got the overall defensive war in terms of the team wise in the center field. While you're looking at
so defensive. So I got it for Jared Duran. He is defensive war 7.9. Jake Myers is at, let me just pull it up here real quick. Jake Myers defensive war this year is 8.8, and Varsho is at 13.8. So yeah, Dalton wins that. Jake comes in second there. And if they're going off the defensive war numbers, if that's what they're going off, then obviously Dalton Varsho wins this hands down, because
it sounds like
Jared
overall
Duran,
he's going to win overall. So maybe Duran as a popularity competition. But if you're looking at the overall defensive war in center field, Toronto has the best at 20.7. Then if you're looking at Boston, they're 10.2. And then the Astros come in third at 8.8, which is basically Jake Myers, because he played majority of center field this year. So that is center field. So we think that it's likely going to be Dalton Varsho winning this. I retract my earlier conversation. Unless this is going to be a popularity thing, then I think Duran might win it. But it's the players voting too.
Yeah, but this is a Gold Glove award. This isn't like, coolest bat flip. I mean, this isn't votes. This is not the All-Star Game vote. The awards they have a specific metric and specific thing that they look at. And although you remember when Carlos Correa won the Platinum Award on the Platinum Glove, there were some things, even when Jeremy won, all the errors he made, but it was at the metrics that they looked at where he excelled over the others. So that's really what it comes down to, is what are they looking at? But with this, let's kick it over to third base because, you know what? Second segment, let's kick it to third base because I've got a question to ask you before we get into the Bregman conversation.
Yeah, and I think one of us mentioned this, but this was his Jake Myers' first nomination for
Right.
Gold Glove. So this is his first full season as an Astros center fielder. So guys, thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. Go and check us out, and we'll continue this conversation next.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. You've heard me talk about FanDuel, and if you took advantage of the line, the 38.5 points for the Texans versus the Patriots, wow, boy, if you took the over, man, you got it, because the Texans alone put a 40-plus spot on the Patriots. It was another great win. The Texans are 5-1. So NFL fans, you can start this season with big returns on FanDuel. So when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You don't have to go to all these different places, download all these different apps, get all these different memberships to these different TV services. It's just right there. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's $200 guaranteed in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet. Go to FanDuel.com, America's #1 sportsbook.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Why don't you make us your first listen every day? If you're on a long drive to work, maybe it takes about 30 minutes. Why don't you check out the Locked On Astros podcast? We appreciate you, and we hope that you check us out on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. So, Brett, before the break, we're talking about Jake Myers. So let's go and shift over to third base. So Alex Bregman has never actually won a Gold Glove. He's a 4-time finalist, and he has not, like I said, he has never won. The finalists that are joining him is Jose Ramirez of the Guardians and Ernie Clement, who I've never heard of the Blue Jays, is actually the other candidate. Maybe I missed him when they're playing him.
Exactly. Dude, no offense, but I'm sorry I'm not a baseball savant like everybody else, but good Lord, it's the same thing I thought myself. I was like, who is this?
I thought this was some old time player. It's like, wait,
like
is this somebody that won it from the Astros earlier or something?
Ernie Clement up to the plate with he hits his leather spikes with the bat, and he gets his bat on the shoulder ready to get a pitch from Babe Ruth. Ernie Clement up to the plate. I don't know. But yeah. But hey, question. So hold on. If Bregman wins, even though he's never won, does this change his value? I don't think personally one award changes much what the barometer is and what he's asking. But do you think it's that big of a deal for him and his agent for him to win this Gold Glove? Yes or no?
Ask Carlos Correa, who got that contract from the Twins, and it may not have been exactly what he wanted, but then what did he do? He, after almost signing with the Mets or whatever happened, I forgot what happened there, he re-signed with the Twins. And so it's just a situation where, yes, it's a big deal, especially when you're also known for your defense. You may have never won it, but you've been nominated 4 times. And so it is a big deal, especially if you actually win. So go and tell me numbers in a second. But yes, it is a big deal. Anything that you could put in your back pocket and pull out when the Astros are like, well, we think you're only worth this. You'd be like, well, what about this? And just pull it out of your back pocket. So that's just something to keep in mind.
No, yeah, definitely. If you're talking about defensive war for these men, I can tell you right now that Jose Ramirez, I think he's at 2.1 WAR. But both Bregman and Clement, right? And that is named Clement. They are both tied at 8.1. So they both have the same WAR going into this. It just depends on the other things. I'll look at more detail with Baseball Savant, but there you go. 2.1 and 8.1 respectively. Now, when you go to the Baseball Savant page where you look at the percentile and all that stuff, look, let me just say this: Alex Bregman, I just don't know who compares to this guy, but his range is 90th percentile. His arm is 80th percentile. That's okay for Clement. And dude, if you look at Clement's number, maybe we should know more about this guy. Just give him a little bit of respect there. His range is 92%. His arm strength is 82.4%. And then Ramirez, who I think is really a underappreciated guy that just rakes and just hits for numbers. His range is 81 percentile, and his arm strength is 28th percentile, is like 81.1. So you got these guys that are really close. It seems like Alex Bregman seems to edge out. Well, no. Yeah, they're all kind of the same, Eric. It just depends, again, on what fielding metrics that they're looking at. Success rate, the outs above average, StatCast, all these things. But with the two mentioned together at 8.1, I think they're your favorites. Bregman may get it because of his name, may get it because he's been a finalist 4 times. Not that it's popularity, but it may be kind of like a Susan Lucci kind of thing where it's like, oh, well, maybe he's got to win 1, right? He's nominated 5 times. So his 5th nomination, we're going to give it to him. But if he gets it, he deserves it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's how it's going to happen, but I'm not even sure if this is the right thing, because I'm looking at the value, the defensive value, or I don't know if this is WAR on Fangraphs for the team. But if you're looking at the team wise, the Toronto Blue Jays at third base, their defensive WAR or whatever it is 9.5. If you're looking at, but offense sucks. But if you're looking at the Astros, they're at 4.3. But then it has the Guardians at negative 0.3.
Well, you got to go to the individual player WAR, not the team WAR.
Yeah, so maybe other players have been playing third base. Maybe he alternates between second base.
Yeah, because Ramirez, I'm sorry. I overrated him. Sorry, I overestimated him. Maybe next time I'll estimate him. In the famous words of Michael Scott, he's 1.3 defensive WAR, Eric, for Jose Ramirez. So my bad. Okay. My bad, Guardians fans. I kind of gave him a little too much credit. So yeah, Jose Ramirez, Silver Slugger, maybe, I don't know, but not Gold Glove. I think it's Bregman, hands down. I don't see anybody else win this. Sorry, Ernie. Maybe next time, kid.
Well, if Clement has the numbers that you say he does, I mean, that's pretty good numbers. So for a guy that nobody knows about, I guess he's only there for his.
I mean, come on, two very well-versed podcasters don't know a baseball player. Come on, I'm joking. But for real. Oh, look, Dave's here.
Yeah.
I wonder if Dave knows who Ernie Clement is.
I'm not sure, but I think that Alex Bregman does have a great arm. He does play some great defense at third base. I know that Jose Ramirez had a great season. He fell, I think, a home run short of a 40-40 season. So I think that's because they canceled 162nd game. So I just think that he might be on there just because of everything else, but he is a good defender. He just may not be the best on the list. So we'll see what happens here. I wouldn't say that it's a slam dunk, especially with the numbers that Clement has. So we'll see what happens. But guys, we still need to talk about what's going on with Mr. Dubon, especially with him playing with a injury the whole basically end of the season. So we're going to talk about that. Thank you for making us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Go and check us out.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an easy downloadable app that you can get to. It's free, and they have a new feature called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets to your favorite live event even easier. It filters out the fluff and shows you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to worry about wasting your time going through thousands of tickets. You get a super deal every single time. I use it. You can literally walk up to the stadium. You don't have to plan, or the venue or the theater, wherever you're going. and buy your tickets there. The lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. Now, they also want you to know that if you find tickets at a lower price in the same section, in the same row, than what you got on Game Time, they'll credit you 110% the difference. That's right. Why? Because they want more money in your pockets to go to more events. So download the Game Time app today, create the account, and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB to get $20 off your purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB and get $50 instantly. When you play $5, you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. It's the best way to get in the action for sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and what do you know? The great state of Texas. I've been playing. I played it this last week. It was really fun. I benefited. That's all I'm going to say. I think you can tune into what I'm saying there. But if you join me and over 10 million other users and sign up today with the flex play they have, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And you can play alongside Drew Budin, and MMA champ Sugar Shane O'Malley. So much more, so exciting that you can't even get the words out. It makes you speechless. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5 on your next bet. Receive that $50 bonus. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Hey, guys. If you want to see us on your big screen TV, why don't you go and check us out on your Amazon Fire TV stick? All you have to do is download the Free Channels app and you just watch us mess up on your big screen and everything like that. But yeah, so Brett, an awesome job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, you're passing off the mic.
Yeah, passing the mic. Go.
Just kidding. So Mauricio Dubon, I know that he was nominated for 2 different positions last year, second base and also the utility player last year. And so that's a big accomplishment to be nominated 2 different positions. This year, thankfully he didn't have to cover for Mr. Altuve that long, but he did get to play different positions. I know a lot of people said, well, we want him to play first base. We want him to do all this other stuff. And I've seen a lot of comments on, I think, something that you and I talked about the other day about who plays third base. And a lot of people said Dubon. Well, his value is as a utility player, somebody that can play multiple positions. 100%. So I don't think that they'll pigeonhole him at one position. So, but he was nominated once again for the utility spot, and he's been playing all over the diamond. You see him more in infield. You see him a little bit less in outfield, but I think you saw him, I think, about even, but he just gets it done no matter. I know he's not perfect, but he was playing the last couple of, I think the last month with a ligament tear or something in his finger or something. And he said it was really hard to play, but yeah, for the love of the game, for the love of the Astros fans, he just went out and did it. So
this guy's a movie, man. Look, that's all there is to it. Mauricio Dubon came here as a marginal major league player at best, didn't really like the way things were going. His potential was known. People across baseball knew what kind of player he could be, but he hadn't really been given that opportunity. And he came here. And what I think has catapulted him to his success is the person he is, his character, and saying, you know what, whatever you need me to do, coach, I can do. And I'll go do it without complaints. He is a rock star. And you know, last year being nominated for 2 different Gold Glove awards was phenomenal. And this year getting nominated again, super big deal, I think, for Mauricio Dubon. His value continues to climb. This is a guy that you want to keep around, Eric. This is a guy that's got to stay. He's everything they wanted Aledmys Diaz to be and more, I think. And so Mauricio Dubon being a Houston Astro for the next several years, I think, is going to be fun to watch, no matter whether we keep Bregman or not, which I hope we do. But he is the ultimate team player. I love this guy. And, you know, his numbers are great. So
I take it back. He actually played a lot of Actually, yeah, this season he played all the positions, but he played the most innings in left field, 405 innings, center field, 153, and at second base, he played 138. So he did play a lot more outfield than I thought, but I forgot that we didn't really have a third outfielder for a while because Tucker's out. So he also was rated 7 defensive runs saved overall. And he was tied for second among all the Astros players behind Kyle Tucker. And also so it's just, he has, you just look at what he did. He won the Gold Glove last year, but he's also nominated with a couple players, Willie Castro with the Twins, and also some guy on some team that we just love. They're our favorite team, Dylan Moore of the Mariners. So those are the other 2 nominees. So Willie Castro came on this year. He played some great defense. He has overall, he's a pretty good player, but we'll see which one of these guys wins the award this year. But
well, so you got so you got Willie Castro at 3.9 defensive WAR. You have Dubon at 5.0 defensive WAR and Dylan Moore at 1.6. I think Dylan Moore clearly distant from Dubon and the other candidate. I think Dubon wins it this year, right, just because of what he did, multiple positions. He can do it. Like I said, the outfield catches. I mean, how can you deny? He literally ran full speed into a wall, sacrificed his body. Like this guy, it wasn't even the World Series, Eric. Like, it wasn't even the season's on the line. Like, he sacrificed his whole body for one freaking out in a game. I mean, I know things were tight back then, but that was unfreaking believable. And he has done that over and over again. The plays, I mean, his snags, I love Mauricio Dubon on this team. And I think without him, this team is not as good defensively. This team defensively for the last 7-8 years has been phenomenal. We are not short of Gold Glove nominees and Gold Glove awards. So just add them to the list. I mean, such an illustrious list too with the Houston Astros. I'd love for him to be one of the few Astros that has multiple Gold Glove awards.
Okay, Brett, I want you to play the role of Dusher Only. I want you to just say, Joe Espada, I know you watch a lot of playoff baseball, so just pretend like we're having a conversation, okay?
Okay.
So say, welcome, Joe Espada, to my podcast. You ready?
Go ahead.
No, you're talking.
Oh.
You're Buster Only.
Well, I thought you were going to give me an intro or something. Hey, what's up, Joe Espada? It's Buster Only from the 4-Letter Network. You guys had an early exit, and I know you would right now rather be in the position of one of the other managers right now. And in your 8th straight ALCS, although 7 ALCS is still impressive. Most would call it a dynasty outside of, we know 2017 happened. But Joe Espada, tell us, what does it take? Like, you're sitting here watching the playoffs, you're at home. What does it take for you to get a team to the next level? How do you do that? What are you looking for to get your team winning?
Well, I think I heard you say, what am I watching for as I'm watching these playoffs this year, Buster? I think that's what you're looking for, but I'm looking for, I don't get a chance to watch all the games, Buster. I mean, I've got to do all my plans for the Astros season next year, but the teams that are left in are the best teams out there. They're the ones that have the best strategy, the best preparations and execution. The teams left out there, they execute the best. I look for quality of the at-bats, how they handle the bullpens, how they deploy their arms, how they run the bases, how they play the defense, because that's the teams that are left over at the end. Those are the ones that have all those. It's not about the best talent, but which teams execute the best.
So, okay. So am I getting a hint that you're saying your team is not one of the best teams in Major League Baseball? I mean, you guys did make an improbable run. You came back from 10 games, 10 games under 500, 10 games behind. I mean, something that people haven't done in over 100 years. So yeah. You would say that your team's not one of the best?
Well, I think that we didn't execute the best, and teams that are still in executed better than we did. And they played the best defense. They played better defense than we did,
Well,
and they
look.
probably deployed their bullpen better.
Well, look, like I said, Joe, we all know that 2017 still hangs over the head of the Houston Astros. And
Oh yes,
we hear it.
No,
Well, but see, here's the thing. We here at ESPN, we don't talk about that anymore, only when we're with our Yankees and Red Sox fans, because they can't stop talking about it. And Dodgers fans, we found out talk about that more than the 2020 title. So please, Dodgers from Buster Only, please win another title so we can stop hearing about the Astros in 20. But anyways, I digress. This has been a great episode, Joe.
Well, thank you. And yes, it still hurts. Not necessarily about the 2017 thing, because we did win a World Series that year, by the way. But it did hurt that we got kicked out by the Tigers. The freaking Tigers. Like, who would have saw that coming? I guess they just executed better, but what can we do? So
in this episode is brought to you by
He'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. Joe Espada. Yo, Joe.
There you go.
We never used that much this year. So
we did. No, we need to use it more. Okay, so look, here's the deal. Bottom line is this, Eric, on the show the night before, I gave Joe Espada a B+ for his job as manager, getting them out of the cellar, getting them like literally from the dregs and from the depths of Major League Baseball to making it. And look, I like Michael A20 down here says losing to the Tigers was a fluke. That 3-game series was a perfect scenario for the Tigers. I had no delusions that they were going to beat the Guardians. And if the Guardians haven't come back to beat the Yankees, I'm going to be ticked. It was 3-2 last time I looked. Have you checked it?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well,
I'm kind of doing podcasts right here. I don't know if you know that. Just kidding.
What? Whatever,
anyway.
Joe Espada. It's 4-2
Yeah,
Yankees. 4-2 Yankees.
42, okay.
Hate the Yankees.
Well, wouldn't you just love for the Yankees and the Dodgers? That's what everybody's dreaming about.
No, that's what Rob that's what LA and New York wants. Yeah, that's what Robin Manfred wants.
Yeah, it's drooling for. They want this matchup. They've been wanting this matchup for years, but the stupid Astros keep on getting in their way. So anyway, so we'll see what happens. But guys, that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. We appreciate you joining us every day, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Go and make us your first listen. We'll be here wherever you want to listen. And I do believe that they will make the Gold Glove announcement on November 3rd. So on that day, we'll definitely come on and say who was snubbed by the Houston Astros. But it's going to be a tough decision. So by the way, it is decided by not only players, Brett, but also managers and also about 25% analytics. So anyway, we will see you tomorrow, and go Stros.
What were you looking for?
I was looking for this because I was filming comments.
Yeah, like you never.
I was looking at this, and then all